Hey everyone, today we're going to have a short video on adding and subtracting rational numbers. This video will be to help you out with what you're going to be working on at home today. So you're going to be working on page 6 and 7. I'm going to lead you through a couple examples and then you're going to complete the rest of the questions on your own. Now for adding and subtracting rational numbers, I've made a couple notes here. First thing that we want to pay attention to is finding the lowest common denominator, so your LCD. And number two would be keeping the denominator, so the bottom number. So let's put this into practice so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now in example 1 here, we have negative 5 over 8 plus negative 7 over 2. The first thing that we want to look for is what is our lowest common denominator. Well, we can't turn 8 into 2, but we can turn 2 into 8. So if we multiply 2 by 4, you will get 8. And now if you find that that's your lowest common denominator, you also want to multiply your top by the same as your bottom. So if we're choosing to multiply the denominator, which is your bottom number, by 4, you also have to multiply the top of your fraction, so your numerator, by 4 as well. What happens is we're going to have this negative 5 over 8 go unchanged. We'll add the plus, add our bracket, and we're going to have our negative 7 times 4. So negative 7 times 4 will get us negative 28 over 8, because you have your 2 times your 4. The most important thing is you should end up with your denominators being the same. Once you have your denominators the same, now we can actually start working on the problem. Now, just like we had done earlier, when we have a negative here, we want to replace our positive because it's going to turn into a subtraction question. So what we're really looking at is negative 5 over 8 subtract 28 over 8. Because the denominators are the same, we're able to combine this and just have one denominator, which looks like negative 5 subtract 28 over 8. So we were able to turn this two separate fractions into one equation now. The next thing that you need to do is negative 5 subtract 28, which will get you negative 33 over 8. Remember that second thing that we talked about, the keeping the denominator? The denominator stays the same all the way through this. You're only affecting the top. Now, once we have it like this, we have our final answer, but it's in an improper fraction. The next thing that we need to do is turn this into a mixed fraction. The way that we're going to do that is take our 8 and have it divide into the 33. So we're going to have 33 divided by 8, which will give us 4, because it goes into it perfectly 4 times, which is 32. And then it's also going to be negative because of this negative in front of the 33. And what's remaining is we have 1 over 8. So the way that you could also look at this is 8 times 4 equals 32. So it went into 33 32 times perfectly, and we have 33 subtract 32 equals 1. So that 1 comes on top, and that 4 is right here. And the most important thing is don't forget your negative, which is coming right from there. Let's do another example as well to help you along with your homework. We're going to go to the bottom one where we have a mixed fraction. The first thing that we want to pay attention to is getting rid of this mixed fraction. The way that we're going to get rid of this mixed fraction is by turning it into an improper fraction. The way that we do this is we multiply the 2 with the 6, and then we add the 1. So our first step here is to change the mixed into an improper. Now, the negative 1 over 4 is not changing, but we have to take the plus that's in the middle and 2 multiplied by 6 plus 1 over our 6. This gives us still negative 1 over 4 plus, and we have 2 times 6, which is 12, plus 1 makes 13 over 6. Now that we've got rid of our mixed, we're able to start looking for LCD, so our lowest common denominator. Now, in this situation here, we have 4, which we can't get into 6 perfectly, and 6 can't go down into 4, so we're going to have to find that common denominator. Now, if we took 4 times 6, we would get 24, and if we took 6 times 4, we could get 24, but there's a lower common denominator that we can look for. If we think about 4, it goes into 8 and 12. Well, 6 also goes into 12. So our lowest common denominator, which is our LCD, equals 12. So our next step is to get both of these to be 12. Well, 4 times 3, so times the top as well, and the 6 times 2 times the top as well. What we have now is negative 3 over 12 plus 26 over 12. Now that we have our common denominator, we're able to turn these two fractions into one, which will be negative 3 plus 26 over 12. And our last step here is to take negative 3 plus 26, which gives us 23 over 12. Remember that our denominator stays all the way through it. We're only changing the top once we found that lowest common denominator. As you work through these problems, what I want you to do is always highlight on the left column what your LCD is. So it should have all of your LCDs listed on the left side here. Then what you can do for the rest is complete these practice problems as well as all the practice problems on page 8 here. That'll be your lesson and homework for today. And if you have any questions, make sure to ask me in class the next time you see me or send me a message over Teams.